Good morning. My name is Jason Johnson, and I'm with Focus Counseling and Therapy in Daphne. I would like to talk a few minutes today about the concepts of happiness and joy, and how, in many ways, joy trumps happiness. First, let's kind of expand upon those terms. Happiness is almost always something that happens to you externally. Let's say that your favorite team wins a game. Let's say that you had a nice dinner. Let's say that you got a nice gift. Or let's say that you're single and you met somebody and they just melted your heart and you had those romantic feelings that come up when we meet someone. Those things that are happiness. What you see on TV all the time, and especially in commercials, are they're saying that you got to have this product or you got to buy this product if you want to be happy. And the problem is it doesn't last, and the happiness tends to fade, and we have to go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing that's going to bring us happiness. There's nothing wrong with that, because being happy is fine. We all want to be happy. But when that is our goal, and what we seek is happiness, and when we don't feel happiness, we think there's something must be wrong with us. That's where the problem comes into play. And especially when we have a world that is constantly telling you that you got to be like this or this or have that to be happy. I have seen millionaires who are depressed. If you give a unhappy worker, let's say a five, $50, or $20,000 raise, you're just going to have a unhappy worker who's paid very well. So happiness, once again, nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't last, and it tends to be something external. Whereas joy is something that is a lot more that's a lot more internal. Give you a couple of examples. One, if you've ever had a child, you know what I'm talking about. When you wake up at 2 a.m. to a screaming child or a screaming baby, and you got to go and get the bottle ready. You have to wake the baby up, change the baby, and hold and feed the baby, and then he throws up on you. You got to redo the bottle and all that. Well, are those times where you would equate that with happiness, uh, as it's usually defined? No, absolutely not. But is that something? But do you feel a sense of joy in that moment? Yes, and it lasts. When you see married couples who have been married for, let's say, 25, 30, or even a year, let's say, I don't care, but yet their happiness is not dependent on the other person, but their happiness is dependent on how they choose or want to treat the other person. All right. Let's get a little bit more. I hate to bring this up, but I will. But let's talk about when married people have, or people are in committed relationships, they'll have affairs. And they'll have affairs because they'll meet somebody and they'll feel a sense of happiness. And God, and heaven forbid they have an affair, and they violate a marriage. Now, were they happy when they had the affair during the process, the whole moment? Probably. But afterwards, they probably had a severe sense of shame and guilt about it. It did not bring them joy. Whereas being in a committed relationship where you stay faithful does bring you joy. Think of Haiti when the earthquake happened many years ago, and the whole island is pretty much just kind of crumbled down. People came from all over the world, dropped what they were doing, things that were making them happy, let's say, and went down there to help. Now, do you think they felt happiness walking among the ruins and the ruined lives? No, they didn't. Because happiness doesn't last. They went down there for something, a deeper reason. They went down there to help. They went down there because they loved these folks. They wanted to do something to help them out of their heart, because they wanted or wanted to sacrifice. Now, when they come back, and I guarantee you that they felt joy in what they did and what they accomplished. I see more and more young people and adults who are depressed, who are constantly chasing this happiness idea that I gotta be happy, I gotta be happy, I gotta be happy. Anything I can to be happy. That's what I need. That's what's important. Fine, happiness is fine. But if that is what you're chasing, and that is what you find yourself going after in your life, is that you're going to find yourself empty ultimately, and you are going to find yourself on a constant treadmill. Whereas love, with things like love, like serving, like self-sacrifice, like putting someone other needs before yourself, those things tend to bring joy. Joy lasts. Over the last 2 or 3 years, you can think on your life, and you can probably think of there's many times, hopefully, you've been happy. But the things that you remember the most, I can almost guarantee you, are those things that gave you joy. Because joy trumps happiness. So if you are on the happiness treadmill, once again, nothing wrong with happiness, but if that is what we are constantly seeking, then we are going to, at the end of the day, find ourselves feeling empty. Instead, we need to figure out, okay, what can I do that can bring joy in my life? That is something that is intrinsic, that is eternal, internal, and something that is lasting versus something that is just momentary. Say it one more time. Nothing wrong with happiness. But when happiness is all that we're chasing, we are going to wind up empty, depressed, anxious, all these other things because it doesn't last. So let's seek out joy. Let's seek out those things that bring joy in our life. If you would like to know more about this, you can go to my website at jjohnsoncounseling.com, or you can call me at 251 307-5778, or you can email me at jjohnson@jjohnsoncounseling.com, and I would be glad to talk to you about this subject more because it's one of so much importance, and people are so quickly to throw down antidepressants down their throats because they're feeling unhappy, when really it's because they're seeking something that just does not last. So I thank you again for your time, and I hope that you have a great week.